Yeah, hey Jalen, just maybe just talk us through the first 6, 7 games, maybe some of the conversations you guys have had as a team about where y'all are at, and just kind of how you move through the rest of this non-conference play.
We're really proud of the resilience we done showed in the first 7 games, but we're still trying to grow, trying to start out games stronger, so we're not having those slow starts because those could come and end up biting us in the butt when ACC play starts.
Yeah, you mentioned the start to the game. Corey's now in the starting lineup with you. Just what has it been like learning to play off of him, and learning to play off all the front court guys?
Well, um, it's new to having him in the starting lineup, but he was here last year, and so I feel like the chemistry and already understanding his game was already there. So it's been almost like a seamless transition. He does really well at the little things like rebounding, really good on the defensive end as well. So I feel like that was easy to translate into what we already had going.
I'm sure y'all have talked about some of the discrepancies between the first half and the second half, particularly from a shooting scoring perspective. Just can you fill us in on maybe what some of the issues have been there in terms of how you guys have maybe not gotten off to great starts, but then been able to kind of finish strong?
Right. A lot of times when we're to start out the game, we're on the opposite end from the coaches. So we have a lot of like organization problems in the first half, or that's kind of been what's bothered us. But we've been in the lab working on that. Just communicating better and understanding the plays and what sets we're in, so we can, get our offense started early.
I guess what have you learned about your team or you guys as a collective after going to the Greenbrier tournament?
I just learned we got a lot of dogs. We got a lot of people who aren't gonna fold when things get tough. We're a real connected team and resilient, and I feel like we showed that. So that's just been the biggest thing I've noticed about our group.
How much are you and the guys looking forward to this game tomorrow against Florida State?
We're extremely excited to host the ACC opponent at home and get another big time win for us. And we look forward to coming down and just competing in front of our home crowd, and we'll see what that leads to.
How important is this next month of games before SEC play starts in the new year?
It's extremely important. I believe finishing the non-conference is important for us when it comes to postseason, and trying to make it into the tournament. So we really got to execute and finish these non-conference games well.
All right, Cam Carter's also with us here.
Another question for Jalen, I guess. Just for you personally, you really focused a lot around the basket and finishing, getting stronger around the rim. Just how do you think you've evolved your game this year, and kind of how deliberate was that coming into the season, knowing you'd have to play a lot at the 5 for this team?
Um, in the offseason, I really focused on getting a lot stronger, but I feel like just my understanding of the position playing the 5 is something new to me, but I feel like I've just grown at understanding, how I can affect the game from that position, even though it might be new to me. So that's really the place I've seen the growth for me the most, just my understanding.
Cam, I'm sorry if you've been asked this before, but how is it being back closer to home in Louisiana and being close to family and stuff and being a part of this team?
It means a lot for me because it's always been a dream for me, and just seeing my family here after every game, spending Thanksgiving with them, even just having my teammates with me at Thanksgiving, it meant a lot.
Matt and TJ.
Yeah, Cam asked Jalen this, but what does the game tomorrow mean for you? How excited is the team, and just what do you know about Florida State?
We know they're a good team. They're an aggressive team, and they have a lot of size. So we've been planning. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say exactly what we're gonna do, but we're gonna attack them though.
Jalen, obviously, you can be a big part of the offense. I think Coach McMahon said that screening has been a bit more of an emphasis for you. Can you talk about, I guess, why screening has been a bit more important for you?
Um, it's been really important for me because it gets my teammates open as well as myself. I feel like I had to really learn how to screen and how I could screen more effectively, and so I feel like just translating that into my game has helped me to not only get my teammates more open, but me opportunities as well.
Okay, Cam, I asked Jalen this, but just the first half offense to the second half offense, I mean, you guys have, it's been a little bit of a discrepancy there. I think for you as a primary creator, have some of the foul trouble you've been in early in games kind of gotten you out of rhythm early in games and just been able to kind of play more free in the second half? Like, how much of an emphasis is that for you?
I feel like, not really. I'm more so like, I don't want to just come into a game and just start forcing and, just looking for my shot right away. I kind of try to, get a feel for the game, and whenever that time comes, it comes. So, I mean, yeah, that's really it.
Question for both of you guys. Miller, freshman coming off the bench. How mature is he for, a freshman, would you guys say?
You want to answer that? Man, I mean, he a freshman, but he a pro. I mean, he got pro habits, and I mean, y'all can see it out there on the court. I mean, he's one of the most talented freshmen I've ever seen.
I'm not sure if you guys have been asked about Corey Chess, but obviously him being in the starting lineup. What have you guys seen from on the court as well as behind the scenes in practice?
Nothing new. I mean, the same way he plays, the same way he practices. So, I mean, he's like he got a magnet in his hand when he going up for the rebounds. I mean, he play hard and he different.
Jalen, you saw him, of course, last year when
Right.
he was redshirting. Maybe you can talk about how much he's developed since he first came here.
He's a completely different player. Just even the way he carries himself off the court, and even when we're not competing, just his communication has gotten better. How he carries himself, how he approaches the work every day. So it's just been a lot of growth for him, and I feel like he's starting to see the benefits from the work he's put in.
Jalen, this is your third year here. I guess, how far have you seen this program come up to now? You guys are off to a pretty great start of the season.
Right.
Just where you guys are now.
It's really been amazing to just watch us grow. Like all the returners, I think Derek's the only person who's been here with me since year one. So just seeing the difference between year one and year three, players wise and coaches wise, and just the growth the program has made. But it's been really good to start out the year, but we got to finish strong.
Florida State, I believe, is in the top 10, 12 in steals per game in NCAA D1. I guess, what are you guys thinking about in terms of trying to prevent turnovers from occurring?
I feel like a lot of our turnovers, they come from, ourselves. Like, I feel like we haven't really played a team that just made us turn the ball over. So I think when we discipline with the ball and, we're not playing all, loose and, when we being careful, I think it's going to be a good game either way it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, Cam, I mean, how much do you guys like as guards playing in those 4-guard lineups? It looks like you guys are just playing pretty free and fast out there. What do you like about those lineups when you guys have 4 guards out there?
Like you said, we play pretty fast, and whatever guard you put in, we're gonna play tough anyway. So we able to switch a lot of things on defense, and kind of throw teams off a little bit. And on the defensive end, like I said, we tough. So I mean, it doesn't matter the matchup.
Cam, obviously this is your first year under McMahon. I guess so far, how would you describe him as a coach, and any favorite moments so far?
I describe him as real because when I first, our first phone call, he just, he told me how things was going to be and, what he expected from me and what he saw in me. And, he pushed me to my limit every day. He never told me a lie, any of that. So, and I don't know. Wait, what was the question after that? I'm sorry.
Any favorite moment?
Oh, favorite moment. I'll say on my visit when we went to dinner and I actually saw him laugh for the first time. Yeah, that's probably my favorite moment. Yeah.
Anything else, folks? All right. Guys, thank you. I appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead and just center a chair, please, if you would. Which mic you want, Eric, or you're
Pull
about?
that chair, he's square here. This one? Yeah,
Pull
you
this
can just pull it off.
Yeah.
Mic check. Auburn's 4-0 in quad one, and they played more quad one games this week than everything else combined.
I was watching the Iowa State game.
The Valley Invitation looks like a huge tournament. Will Wade took them back in like 17, and they played Michigan, and they beat Michigan. That was like the first big win they had. Tremont Waters is just insane. Like over the yeah, that was his freshman year, and he had this insane like dove for a ball or flipped it over his head to Skylar Mays for like reverse dunks. It was crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah. He's good for Puerto Rico too. Him and Jose got him to the final 16.
Yeah, and Puerto Rico was obviously not basketball powerhouse country, to say the least.
Those two were their best players, and they weren't barely 6 feet.
Yeah,
So.
they're not, says something. They're not low for the time.
Dallas can't do anything right. The Pelicans. Yeah.
I'm a Knicks fan. I didn't watch the last game.
Lost by 40.
Yeah.
They were down by 40 at one point. Traded Dyson Daniels, and he becomes like one of the best two-way guards in the league this year. I'm sorry, what? What did he say? Oh, Wade said that? I don't remember him saying that. He said a lot of stuff. You've been under a rock is my favorite. Oh, man, he was the best.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that's the same person like you.
He was even better off there. He'd spent 15 minutes with us
Really?
off the cameras, just bullshit.
Wow, so
After some press conferences.
yeah, that's how his personality sort of looks like that from a distance when I was in high school, college.
So brazen with everything. He went over the last bit. Yeah.
How's everybody? All right, thanks, Kent. Appreciate everyone being here today. Great opportunity for us tomorrow night against a really good Florida State team. Always have great respect for Coach Hamilton and his teams. They're elite defensively. When you look at the numbers, 5th in the country in block percentage, 4th in steal percentage, 3rd in forced turnovers. They really guard you and are very disruptive on that end of the floor. Offensively, Coach Hamilton always has very balanced teams. They're led by Watkins, who's averaging over 17 a game in just 25 minutes, which is hard to do. So a lot of respect for their team. Like the direction we're headed as a group. Was very pleased with our second half on Friday night in the win, and I've had a couple good days of prep going in. Love to have a great crowd. Last week of classes, so want to see a huge student turnout tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on the SEC Network.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned them defensively. Are they similar to any of the teams you have played to this point this year with how aggressive they are?
No, I don't think so. I think they have great size and length at every position. So a lot of interchangeable parts. Are able to switch and cause a lot of havoc when you do beat them off the dribble. Their rim protection is amongst the best in the country. So you have to make great decisions there.
I'm sure you guys have talked about it, but the discrepancy between the first half and the second half, shooting the ball wise, I'm curious, does any of that have to do with some of the creators on y'all's team, Sears and Carter, sometimes getting in a little foul trouble, or just like what do you think are some of the things that have led to some of the discrepancies there?
Yeah, it's a great question, something we've studied a lot. There's definitely a difference in our percentages and our efficiency numbers first half to second half. I thought in Friday's game, we didn't play with the pace that we needed to, both in the full court and half court. I thought the ball really stuck. We were stagnant. Execution was poor. And then I thought you saw the adjustments and improvement there in the second half. Clearly when you're playing teams like Florida State, when you look at how good the SEC is this year, you have to be able to play 40 minutes. So just working on our consistency there and getting off to a better start offensively. The defensive numbers were phenomenal. We forced 12 turnovers, but we didn't turn that into any points at all, which is an area that we've worked on these last couple of days.
Coach, how would you want your team to, I guess, protect the ball and keep possession? I guess what points of emphasis in terms of not getting turnovers?
Yeah, I think ball security is always important, especially when you're going up against the number 3 team in the country and forcing turnovers. They're getting over 11 steals a game. So it's the ability to take care of the ball. It's also a decision-making deal. They're really aggressive on that end, and we'll have to make sure we get high-quality looks every trip down the floor.
Coach, Victorious Miller's been having a really great start to his freshman year. Just what have you seen from him, and how are you looking for him to step up against Florida State tomorrow?
Well, he's been consistent, double figures in the last 5 games. Has not shot the ball from 3 as well as he's capable of, but he's shown that he can score in other ways, getting to the rim, scoring in the mid-range there in the paint. I thought even Friday night on a day where he didn't shoot it as well as he had been, he got to the free throw line 7 times and made all 7. And then I think his biggest gains have been on the defensive end of the floor. I think he really competes at that end. He's starting to learn how we want to play, and you see him improving each game.
What kind of offensive role do you see Jalen Reed sort of developing this year?
Yeah, I think hopefully more of the same. I think having the ability to score down in the post. I think for him, he's seen some double teams now, so decision making when those double teams come becomes important. And then I think you'll see him continue to extend his range. He's hit a couple threes now. He shot 39 from behind the arc a year ago. I think you'll see that continue to improve. But overall, I think when you look at like the Central Florida game, 21 and 13, also had 4 assists when they came to double him. The rebounding has been the biggest step he's made this year, and want that to continue to be an emphasis for him.
Coach, when we talked to the players earlier, I think it was Jalen maybe said some of the problems they might have been having is just communication early in the game, just being far away from the coach's bench and stuff. How have you guys been working on that to make sure it's a lot more efficient come tomorrow?
Yeah, well, the first 20 are always going to be like that, so we have to do a better job, both as a coaching staff and then players on that end of the floor have to be able to communicate well with each other. So we've been working on that in practice. I do want to, give credit Northwestern State. I thought their changing defenses and their zones got us back on our heels, and we didn't attack it very well. And I thought you saw that improvement in the second half.
I asked Cam a little earlier about sort of how do you describe you as a coach. The first thing he said was that you're very real, very genuine. And he said he cracked a smile when he had his dinner during a visit. Not sure if you remember that, but I guess why is being authentic and real, I guess, a big part of your coaching style?
I really don't ever even think about coaching style. I have no idea what that means. I'm just trying to help our players get better. I really enjoy that piece of it, seeing them grow as not only as players but as young men and leaders. It's challenging building a team. I enjoy that part of it, and so I think being honest and truthful and genuine, that's really the only way I know to do it.
Coach, how important is finishing out the non-conference schedule strong with a lot of wins going into SEC play in the new year? How important is that for your team?
Well, they're huge opportunities, and we talked about that a lot going into the season. We know basically looks like every SEC game is going to be a quad one game, as good as the league is. I think the SEC had as good in November as any league in history, other than I think the 2016 Big 12. So it's a loaded league. when you get these opportunities, the 2 Big 12 wins that we have, playing against Florida State, that's going to be a really good team. I think in 2 weeks we have SMU and Dallas. You have to take advantage of those opportunities. And so we've gotten off to a good start there, but we got to put all our focus toward this Florida State team tomorrow.
Going back to Miller, you coached a lot of freshmen. Coming in, do you think he was going to be this developed? Is kind of surprised, or you kind of knew this coming into the season?
No, he's from a talent and a skill set. He's been exactly what we thought he would be. I think the biggest change or adjustment for freshmen when they get to college is just the mindset, the work habits, understanding offensive and defensive schemes. And clearly he's shown he's been able to pick up in those areas very quickly. I think he's a great competitor, which is very advantageous for him. And so I'm very pleased with his development here his first month of his career. And I think you'll just see him keep getting better because it's really important to him. I think he really cares about his performance. I think he cares about his impact on the team. And it shows in his work ethic and his habits.
You mentioned this being the last week of class before kind of getting this whole winter break, I guess, to kind of work with your team. Have you learned things like throughout the last couple of years of how you like to approach the month of December from a practice standpoint or just a development standpoint to kind of help your team going into SEC play?
I always think, and I've always felt this way, Glenn, that month where you're out of classes going into league play is huge. It's really the first chance you have to have some extended practice time, to experiment with different combinations or different schemes. And then I think with the players having so much free time during that month, if they're really committed and invested in becoming the best player they can be, they can make huge gains in the month of December. So we try to be very intentional there. We know once you get to SEC play, basically every game's a 2-day prep. So there's only so much you can do when you look at the sports science of it and taking care of their bodies and having them ready to perform at their best on game day. So I think the next 4 to 6 weeks will be really important for us on the court. But then I think the final piece of that is you do have extra time, team building. You have so many new faces, almost every team in the country does now, where you're able to spend quality time outside of basketball as well, building your team, building those relationships.
Do you think this team has kind of found their identity at this point in the season, or do you think that's something that's still developing?
Well, I think we've made great progress. I love the direction we're headed. I think you see roles being more clearly defined. I think you see more acceptance of players buying into their roles and what they can do to help our team win. And, not everybody's going to average 20 a game. And so I think the buy-in is really good at this point. We still have a lot of getting better to do. There are a lot of areas we have to clean up. But I think we have the right mindset and the right chemistry in the locker room to give ourselves an opportunity to do so.
To combat that defensive aggressiveness we talked about with Florida State, will it be more, I know obviously up-tempo play is always important, but is it even more crucial to sort of beat that aggressiveness from Florida State, just getting down in the fast break?
Well, we always want to play in transition, but to do that, you have to be able to defend and rebound. And our defensive numbers have been terrific here through 7 games. The area of biggest improvement that's needed is our defensive rebounding. And we've given up too many second chance opportunities. I'll say in fairness to our players, Friday night, 9 of them came off our block shots. But nonetheless, still too many second chance opportunities. So for us to play at the pace we want to play, we have to continue to get better on the defensive glass.
You have any recent update on Damian Collins?
Yeah, Damian is yesterday was his first day back on the floor. All non-contact player development skill work. We'll start gradually working him into some contact and just see how he feels. We look forward to getting him back. Don't want to rush it and it be something that drags on all season long. He's in his rehab program for his shoulder now, but really look forward to getting him back on the floor, hopefully sooner than later.
All right, anything else? All right,
All right. Thank y'all so much.